All right, we got about 2 minutes before we're gonna get started. Any requests today? What does that look? Okay.
That's me, like
Yeah.
I can relax, even no matter what.
Okay, good, that's great. Okay,
I love pitching.
great, let's do it.
And I like it.
Hips, okay,
I just like a little bit of everything.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
been a
great.
full week. I'm so tight in my chest.
okay, good. We're gonna work with some strap stuff too. Well, that was my intention. Keep it cool, not too heating. Open up 4 corners of the body was my thought. So shoulders and hips. So for people that are joining on Zoom, if you have a strap at home, grab that. I think I gave everybody else straps, so we'll be using those throughout as well. And I'll got my headphones here real quick. So when I was a new teacher, I asked for requests once and someone said pelican. And I was like, oh, and in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's pelican? What's pelican? And I'm rolling. And so I'm like, can you just remind me what pelican is? And so eventually we realized it was pigeon, but she just didn't know what the name of it was. But I was feeling, I'm like, I should never ask for poses because what if they say something I don't know? And the whole time I'm racking my brain, like, why can't I think of pelican pose? It's just another bird. It's funny. Hi, Margaret. Good to see you. And Karen and Key and Carol. Got a lot of cuss sounds. All right. Well, we've got just at 4 o'clock here. Couple announcements before we get started. The studio is closed next week. We usually do a week where the studio is closed in preparation for the fall term. And so classes go through Sunday normally. So normal class tomorrow morning if you go to Betsy's Saturday. But then next week the studio will be closed. We're going to wash all the blankets, deep clean everything, get ready for the next session. And the next session begins that next week, which I believe is August 7th or 6th, whatever that Monday is. So I typically teach Mondays at 9, and we'll have information forthcoming about all of our sessions, but you can always do punch cards if you want to, or, sign up with different teachers if you'd like as well. So there's some options there. All right, so you can take a comfortable seat if you'd like. If you want to start on your back, you can feel free. We actually eventually will make our way to our back, but for centering, if you'd like, sit up on either the bolster that you have, a couple of blocks. If you do want to stay kneeling, yeah, you can have the bolster there. Anything that's comfortable for you. And yeah, my intention today is just keep it cool. Like you said, long week, really hot week. It can feel kind of anxiety producing, at least when it's like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. What does this mean? This is so, I find a lot of worry when I get into places like this. And so we're going to work with our breath and our body just to cool it down, kind of release anything that's gone on this week. And just think about finding some fluidity. I wear my bright blue pants to bring in some water elements. And with that in mind, feel free to continue drinking throughout class. There is some filtered water out there and some cups as well. So important to just take good care. And anytime when it's really hot, we don't want to add a lot of more heat, right, to things that are hot. We really want to work on balancing that out. All right. So let's work with that. Let's center with a couple breaths here. So however you're seated, you can allow your eyes to gaze toward the floor. Maybe they soften or flutter closed. Let's tune into our body and space here. So wherever you are, take a deep breath in. Feel the breath just extending through all the extremities, all the way down through legs and toes, breath filling up arms through fingers. As you exhale, feel the breath come up and out. Feel the air around you just hugging in. So you take another deep breath in through your nose. Allow that breath to fill up your chest, your lungs, and then your belly. Breath comes out, belly, lungs, and chest. Let's do that again. Inhale to chest, ribs, belly, Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. So you're continuing to breathe mindfully here, just doing a brief check-in. 3-part check-in here. What is the state of my body today, Friday afternoon, end of July? You might even move a little bit here, forward and back or side to side, just tuning in. How am I feeling? Be letting words come to mind. And then tuning into your mind. How is my mind? What's the quality of my mind today? Is it sluggish or overactive, clear? Whatever the state of your mind, just allowing it to be, acknowledging what it is, letting it go. And if you'd like, I'll invite you to place your hands over your heart, maybe right hand over your heart, left hand over your right. Tuning into your heart space here. What is the quality of my emotional self today? The heat might make you feel really irritated or just tired. Maybe you feel burned out. What's your heart like today? Maybe you're excited, you feel full of love. And then join your hands together in Anjali Mudra. So palms touch, thumbs gently pressing into the sternum. Any of those things that came up as you checked in with your body, your mind, and your heart. Just allowing any of that to wash away, nothing to fix or do or analyze in this next hour. Knowing that by showing up on your mat today, things will naturally shift and change. We do not need to force anything. If there's any additional intention that you'd like to set for your practice today, you just ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want to call in? And with one more breath, let's seal that intention in. Exhale, bow your head towards your hands, your heart. And gently release your hands, blink your eyes open. We'll make our way to our backs. So you can clear your props off to the side and find your way to your back. Good to see you, Laura. Once you get there on your back, just intuitively move around a little bit. So some of you, or maybe you feel like stillness. So some of you might want to find constructive rest, take a couple breaths with your hands on your belly. Others of you might want to bring your knees in toward your chest, roll a bit around on your back. Could find a crescent stretch, kind of stretching arms and legs in opposite directions. And one of the gifts of our yoga practice is just the ability to tune in. So moving slowly as we begin, allowing that breath to fill up through your back body. If you like what you're doing, feel free to stay. Otherwise, I'll invite you into a supine twist. So set your feet down, scoot your hips over to the right, and then knees come up and over to the left. You can allow your knees to stack if that feels good. And then our right arm opening to the side. So head, belly, and chest can gently turn to the right as your knees are over to the left. With an exhale, see if you can find a slight tilt in your low back, like a cow tilt in your spine. And then with your next exhale, can your right shoulder descend any further toward the floor? And inhale, come back through center. Place your feet down on the floor, scoot your hips to the left. Knees come up and over to the right. Maybe tuning into your Ujjayi breath, that ha sound in the back of the throat as you exhale. Again, slight curve in your low back. And then left shoulder descending even more. Just settling into the floor. To your next exhale, go ahead and unwind. We'll come back to center. This time, bring your right knee in toward your chest and stretch your left leg long. So squeeze, kind of pulse with a little squeeze with your right knee. So squeeze it in toward your chest, release it a little bit, squeezing in and out. And then just place your right hand on your right shin, open your right knee to the right, and kind of open and close like it's a door here. Getting a little bit of hip mobility. You might move some circles as well with your right knee. Tuning into that right hip socket. And eventually we'll make our way to a half happy baby. So sliding hands onto your foot, maybe pinky toe edge of the foot, and think of it like a deep lunge on your back. So from here, we're working ankle over the knee if you can. And with your left hand, place it on your left thigh. Press that left thigh down and away from you. There's the good stuff. Yeah, and I see great variations here. If you can't put your head back down or you need a little bit more space, put your hand behind your knee. That's a great way to work this. Yeah, or a block underneath your head. Great. Exhale, one more. Good, and then we'll switch sides. Left knee in toward the chest, right leg long. Couple pulses here as we squeeze the left knee in and out. A little bit of compression and release. Staying mindful in our movement. And then taking that leg in your left hand, make some circles or just open your knee to the side and back. See what intuitively the side needs. Eventually going to half happy baby. So another option some of you just did, which is great, is you can take your right sole of your foot on the floor. If extending your right leg long is too intense, pressing foot into hand, hand back into foot. Again, thinking of this as like a lunge shape on your back. If your right leg is straight, take your right hand, press that thigh down and away from you. Freeing up some space here. Good. Release that foot to the floor, both soles of the feet on the floor, and then draw your knees in toward your chest. Just like we did with one leg, we'll do it with two. So compress knees in toward chest and release. Compress, release. And you can make some circles with the knees or random movements. Your knees can move in opposite directions or the same, staggered. Just tuning into your own rhythm. Eventually we'll place feet on the floor and roll to one side. Come on up to a hands and knees position. I'll give you a couple minutes here just to do your favorite greeting through your tabletop, whether it's some big circles. If you have a tender spot somewhere in your body, usually at the beginning of my practice, I like to tune in, like, how's that tender spot doing today? Can I feel into that? Beautiful movement, everybody. Keep that breath flowing in and out. Finding some water element, right? Some fluidity in all of this heat. Essentially, we'll slide our way back to child's pose. So allow your knees to go wide, big toes touch, slide all the way back. If the floor feels really far away, you can have a block underneath the head. You could also have a bolster behind your knees if your knees are sensitive at all. From here, see if you can audibly hear your breath as you exhale, kind of reverberating into your mat. And if you'd like, we'll make this a little bit more active. So crawl your hands out further away from you. Come up on fingertips. See if you could lift your whole arm bone toward the sky a little bit more. Keep your shoulders hugging onto the back and then soften your heart down. Another inhale, lift your shoulders, lift your armpits a little bit. Exhale, heart melts through the arms. One more inhale, stretch, lift through the arm bones. Exhale, heart, belly soft. Good, inhale, come back through hands and knees. Walk the knees back underneath the hips. Move through a couple of cat and cow tilts. You can move at your pace, fast or slow. What would it mean to make it really fluid? Really expansive. Really nice, everybody. All right, from here, inhale, right arm reaches up toward the sky, big stretch. Exhale, thread it through, coming to the right side of the head. Again, if the floor feels far away, come to a block. That can be really nice support there. Yeah. And then with your left hand, fingertip crawl that left hand maybe up and over. You can come on fingertips if you want to keep that a little bit more active. And if you are choosing that option, bring the left head of the arm bone back. Look underneath your left arm. Just a little bit more of a twist. Yeah. Anchor your left hip back in space as you stretch through those left ribs. And come back. Reach your right arm back up. And back down. See the story on the other side. Left arm reaches up and bringing it through left side of the head to a block or to the floor or even a blanket. And then, yeah, if you want to come up on right fingertips, crawl them up, 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 and over to the left side of the mat a little bit. Yeah. And then maybe spinning, looking under that right arm, find some space. Can you tack your right hip back a little bit? Yeah, and get some space in the ribs. So I saw that, everybody, really nice. One more breath. And then come out the way you came. Set it back down. Nice. Stretch your left leg behind you. You can go ahead and look underneath your body down at your left toes while you pump a few times on the back, bottom of your feet and through your calf. This is also just like one of my favorite poses to release the feet. It just always feels so good to me. Might not feel good to you, but. All right, we're going to go to a side stretch. So right foot is going to kick off to the right side and off your mat, and I'd keep toes tucked if you can. And take your right hand just forward of the right shoulder. Good, and underneath, and then open, left arm comes to the side, back foot slides down, so sole of the foot down of your back foot. Beautiful. All right, reach that arm up toward the sky, lift your hips a little higher, really nice, and then left arm maybe alongside the ear. Good, can you really anchor through your bottom arm and maybe turn your heart and your head a little bit toward the ceiling? Make a long line through your body. Beautiful. Inhale, come back through center. Give any little wiggle or shake to stretch that out. Then right foot back behind you. Look back at that foot. I always have to make sure my pinky toe is not cheating. It likes to sneak out of that stretch. When you're ready, we'll take your left foot, take it off the side of your mat so it's out to the side, left hand underneath or just forward of the shoulder, and then open right arm to the right. Sole of the back foot down as you reach hips higher toward the sky, maybe right bicep alongside the ear. If you're still feeling steady, spin heart, head up toward the sky, bit of a back bend, stretch. Good, come back through center. Nice, everybody. All right, from here, we'll walk hands forward to the shoulders and finally up and back to downward facing dog. Walk it out, do what you'd like here to greet your dog. And I would just invite, a lot of you have your hands in pretty narrow. If that feels good to you, that's fine. I would just invite you to play with taking the hands a little bit wider. So lately in my practice, I've even been working with my pinkies over the edge of my mat. So more of my index finger and thumb toward the shoulders. From here, almost imagine like corkscrewing your hands into the floor. Lift your hips a little higher. Good, then look in between your hands and tiptoe to the front of your mat, standing forward fold. Blocks are great here if hamstrings are tighter. Once you get there, you can bend and straighten legs, shake out your head. Maybe even imagining a cool waterfall just coming over you, washing away any stress or strain, just leaving your body. Ground through your feet, inhale, reach your arms up, come all the way up to standing, big reach. Look up, exhale, hands come down through the heart. Pause. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground. So much of our lives, we are not present in the same space as our feet, right? Our minds are off somewhere else, our bodies disconnected as well. So just as we move through, trying to keep a little bit of awareness here in the feet, be where you are. Inhale, reach your arms up. Good, exhale, fold forward. Let that breath flow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down and step your right foot back to a lunge. Set your right knee down. And then hands come to the hips. So floor's pretty hard. If you need extra cushion, just like Julie's doing with blanket, or you can fold up your mat. We have plenty of mats if you want to grab another one. So be nice to your knees. Yeah. I always tell this story that I got my friend some knee pad yoga pants that they don't sell anymore, but they should because they're just built in, can't even see them. I also have heard another idea for some yoga pants that have an L and an R on the legs because it's like the whole time, you know, and someone came to class recently and they had L and R tattooed on their hands. So we'll just be decked out with knee pad yoga pants and L and R written on our bodies and we'll be so ready. Oh, all right, so we're just moving in and out of this lunge here. Feeling into the hips. As we got some requests too to work on opening this heart, let's take hands behind the back. We'll take them to the low back, fists to the low back here, and squeeze your elbows closer together. All right, as you sink down into your lunge, anchor your back knee down, front foot down, hug them together like they're magnetically connected. Shoulders squeeze together again. All right, as you sink down from your hips, can you lift up and out of your heart? So we got a little bit of a back bend here. Good. Inhale, pull your belly in. And then puff your chest forward and up. Maybe sink more into your lunge. Beautiful. Gently come back up. Release, right hand down alongside your left. Left hand on your left thigh. And use that to twist open toward your leg. Yeah. One more breath. See about twisting a little bit more. Nice. Exhale, come back through center. Hands either side of the front foot. We'll go into half splits, which forward folds in general can be nice, cooling, inward focused poses. So we'll work with our breath here a couple times. So inhale, come out halfway. We're kind of keeping our back flat. So anchor this left heel down really strongly and like plug your leg bone in. Keep the length in the back and exhale, descend any amount. So like you're reaching your sternum towards your toes as opposed to your head. Inhale, come out just a little bit. Exhale, find some space, descend, full breath. One more time, inhale, find some more length, anchor hips back, reach chest forward. Exhale, fold, and we'll stay for a couple breaths here. So find a good working edge for you. Being mindful of an even curve to your back, slow breath as we're in a deep stretch. One more slow inhale. And exhale. Good. We'll plant that foot back down. Heel toe your left foot off to the left, hands on the inside of the foot. Two ways to work our lizard today. So you can work this more of a humble pose with your back knee under your hip. This is going to be a little tighter, okay? But you might get more sensation. Or you can walk your back knee back a little bit or keep it lifted for more of a high lizard lunge, okay? So really different sensations for me with the different knee position in the back. But again, working on getting into the hip. Try not to overdo it today, right? Just the right amount. Set your back knee down if it's lifted. Heel toe your left foot back in towards center. And then we'll eventually make our way to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Option to come to your knees as you lower through chaturanga. Squeeze everything tight as you lower down. Good. Untuck your toes. Funky cobra, fingertips outside the mat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. We're going to come in and out a few times. Tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift up. Drag hands back in space. Good. Exhale, come back down. Next time, lift up. We'll pause here for a moment. So imagine really pulling your ribs in. Take a deep breath. And then use that to lift up, shoulders down the back, heart forward and through. Stretch out from your legs. Exhale, come down. Good. Hands alongside the chest. Press up and back. So thinking about these four corners of the body, complicated joints, our hips and our shoulders, also places where you can hold a lot of tension. Right leg steps forward in between the hands. Left knee comes down. Hands can come to the hips. So good places to be able to open. It's amazing how everything's connected, right? Sometimes, even just freeing up parts of our hips or our side body can really help our shoulders to open up. If you're feeling a lot of stuckness, good to just get some things moving. Next time you come forward, we'll take left hand down, right hand on the thigh. And let's try this. We didn't try this on the other hand, but turn your fingers out to the left. So if they're straight ahead, just rotate them out to the left. See how that allows your left shoulder to come on your back a little more. You can even be on fingertips if you want to. Right hand on the thigh, use that to lift and traction that twist. Beautiful. Inhale, find some length. Exhale, maybe twist a little bit more. Come back through center and take the half splits here. So you'll see my toes are toward the sky and I'm trying to spread them, bring them toward my shin. So the back of my hamstring and have a lot of nice muscle engagement. Inhale, length through your spine. Exhale, keep the muscle engagement as you fold forward, as you greet the edges of your sensation. Inhale. Exhale. Sometimes I just get in the practice of greeting these things. I just have to say like, okay, hi hamstrings. I feel you. I see you. Inhale halfway. Exhale, we'll hold for a breath or two. Find a good working edge for yourself that you can find something interesting. Soften your jaw. Inhale, come out, set that foot down, heels toe it off to the right, hands come on the inside. Variation of lizard lunge, your choice, or knee under the back hip for more of a humble pose. Beautiful movement, everybody. This is a pose that can feel less intense when we have some mobility here. Eventually, heel toe that right foot back in, hands either side, lift your back knee, eventually make your way into a forward fold. Done a little bit with the hamstrings, so just checking in with them here. Shake out your head. If your feet are close together, heel toe them out a little bit wider so they're more hip bone distance apart. Invite a bend into the knees and then walk your hands forward on blocks or on the floor and come up on fingertips here. From here, anchor your hips back behind you and stretch your spine longer. So we're in a forward fold just with our hands forward. Walk your hands back towards your feet, hands come to the hips, come all the way up to standing. And take your time getting there. We'll balance on the right foot. So spread your right toes, little bend through the right knee, and left foot anywhere on the right for tree pose. Bless you. And start with hands at the heart. There's tissues behind you too if you need them. And let's focus a little bit on the hips here. So find a spot on the floor that's not moving as we're working on balancing. Okay, and see if with your inner left foot, you can bring that heel a little bit closer to me. It's going to open your hip a little more. Good, then squeeze your outer hips in. Yeah, and then from your pelvis, reach up through the crown of your head, get a little taller. Beautiful, everybody. Then maybe arms. Follow that energetic lift. At the same time, you're pressing down through that standing leg. Might even imagine growing deep roots from your tree. Just like imagining all the tree's roots searching for water today. And exhale, just with as much mindfulness as you came in. Shake it out. We'll try the other side. I always tell this to people too, but if balance is challenging for you, as it is for a lot of us, you can also step off your mat. Even this little bit of cushion does make it more challenging. Sometimes having a nice flat ground without any cushion can be more stabilizing. So if I'm at home, sometimes I'll hop into the tiled bathroom when I need to stand on the ground if I don't want to stand on the carpet. So work to the other side here, finding your position of your leg. Everybody looks good. All right, find a steady gaze point. Squeeze your outer hips in, and then that inner heel of the foot, bring it a little closer to the front of the room. See if that allows your right hip to open just a tiny bit more. Round down through your standing leg and reach up, up, up through your upper body. Yeah, and if you're ready, go for the arms. Shoulders down the back, even as arms lift, your gaze might even lift. We're moving with patience as we grow our tree. Good, everybody, hands come back down, unstick your foot. Yeah, nice shake. Good, step to the front of your mat if you're not there already. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Good, we're gonna take 3 sighs here with our inhale. halfway lift and then sigh. So inhale, lift up, belly pulls in, gather up all of your annoyance or whatever from this week and sigh it out. Inhale. Okay, exhale. Inhale, peace, calmness. Exhale, stress. Good. Place your hands down and step your right foot back to a lunge. Just like we were before, set your right knee down. Okay. And then you're going to grab your strap. I have to tell you that until this week, I've never done the combination of these two things. And it is both hard and amazing. Okay. So you may have been in classes before. We take a strap and we work on stretching our upper body. So we're going to do this in a lunge. So I would take the metal part in one hand so you don't hit yourself in the head. Ask me how I know that. And then take your strap over the palms of your hands there. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we want to take it behind you, palms facing toward me. If you're at home, you don't have a strap, long sleeve shirt, belt, scarf, somebody's phone is going, feel free if you need to grab it, you can. Okay, so you can, Laura's like, is that mine? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna need to see what's good for us in our body. So sink into your lunge. Okay, I want you to find a lot of stability in your legs. Hug your legs together. We're gonna inhale, oh my gosh, bring it forward. And exhale, bring it back. So what do I want you to feel? I want it to be challenging but doable. So if it feels like really easy, bring your hands closer together. I want you to pull the strap apart, like you could rip it apart. We're super strong. And just come in and out here. If you feel like I could have some more sensation, bring your hands closer together. We're finding some good little spaces here. Whew. All right, next time we're gonna come with our hands and find sort of a hot spot, maybe right behind the heart. So sink down into your lunge, drag your front foot back, and then pull the strap apart. Can your chest come forward and up? Stretch. Oh my gosh. Are you all feeling as much as I'm feeling right now? Okay. Inhale, come up. Ah. All right, hands come down. Whew. Take it back. Sit back on your heels for just a minute. Shake it out. Let your knees have a little rest there before we move to the other side. Oh my goodness. All right. If you'd like, before we move to the other side, tuck your toes. Again, reach back, make sure your pinky gets in there too. Sit back on your heels, big stretch through the feet. If you can handle it, bring your knees back in space just a little bit. Good, reach your arms up. You can come out whenever you need to. Interlace your hands, flip them toward the ceiling. A lot of tension in the feet for a lot of us. Stretch to the side. Again, you don't need to force through anything, but just release some tension through the feet. Thank you, feet, for all you do for us. Bring your hands forward. My favorite part, untuck your toes, taps of the feet. Ah, good. All right, this time, right foot forward, right? I was right foot back last time, correct? Do the other side. Do the other side. Does this feel right? Right foot forward? Okay. I'm mirroring you now. Got it. Great. Wonderful. Okay. If you start to do this and you're like, I already did this side, just switch. It's totally fine. Okay. Take your hands behind your back. Grab one of the metal ends. Okay. And if you decide this just isn't working for your knees, just stand up. You can do the same thing. Okay. So there's no use in pushing through any pain. All right. Find some stability in the legs. Hug them toward the midline. So they're going to hold us up as we do this deep stretch. Inhale, arms come forward. So it should feel like a stretch as they come forward. Okay, and back. Good, anchor the legs together. Use your breath. Send it to any tightness, any stickiness in the shoulders, in the chest, in the heart. Heat can do one thing, it's melt some stuff away, right? So, all right, next time you come back, find your own little hot spot behind your heart. Oof, pull the strap apart. Good. Maybe sink down more into your lunge. Maybe reach your heart up, pull the strap apart. We're toning and stretching and, oh my gosh, releasing things. All right, let's go back to a puppy dog pose. So take your knees wide. You can come up on fingertips, slide your hips, Hips are going to stay right over the knees. You really need to have your hands far forward, big arch through your back. Good. So we did some nice, good opening with the chest here. So just feeling that. Can you tilt your sitting bones toward the sky more, get more of a curve in your low back so you stretch your heart. Good. Walk your hands back, grab your blocks. In the same pose on your block. If you don't have them or you don't want to use them, you can do the same pose without them. So you take palms on the blocks here. Again, hips over the knees. And I want you to press down firmly on the blocks. The same thing we did in child's pose before. So lift your arm bones. Think about hollowing out your armpits. It's a weird cue, but see if you can get that lift. And as your shoulder blades are anchoring on your back from that place, just a softness. So imagine me sort of just light pressure on the back of the heart space, right behind the shoulder blades. Can you soften there? Breathe into the heart. Again, not overdoing it, just enough. Good. Then slide the blocks back towards your torso. See about this. So you see about putting the elbows on the blocks. You can interlace hands. Make a little shark fin. If you're at home, you can also do this on a counter, back of a chair. All right, so anchor elbows back, and then you're doing that same stretch. So keep a nice integration in the shoulders. You want to keep the shoulders moving on the back. Maybe your hands descend to the back of your neck. Don't force it. Reach out through your elbows. Good. Inhale. Get yourself out gently. Set the blocks off to the sides. And then stretch up and back to downward facing dog. See how that feels. After a lot of opening through the chest, through the shoulders. All right. You're going to step your right foot forward in between your hands. Okay, we're making our way to a wide-legged forward fold. So take your hands on the inside of the right foot. Good, and then walk them over. Julie knows where we're going. So you're facing toward the clock. Yeah, wide-legged forward fold. All right, release your head. Move a little bit as you need to. Yeah, blocks underneath the hands here are great. Do your favorite variation here in this forward fold. You can ground through the feet. Knees can be bent or not. If you'd like to join me for a twist, you can take left hand on the floor or on a block. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Imagine your hips moving back in space as your head moves forward. So you're making your whole torso longer. Twist a little more. Maybe take your right hand to the back of your head. It's going to be intense. Stretch and twist open. Lean back into your hand. And switch sides. Right hand down, left hand up. Weight through the feet. Hips behind you, head stretching in the opposite direction. If you'd like, left hand behind the head, head back. Oh, and release. And again, shake out the head. You can grab ankles if you'd like to in this forward fold, or walk your hands back behind you on the floor. Crown of the head toward the floor. Find this nice inversion. Eventually bend your knees, hands come to the hips, come all the way up to standing. Good, heel toe your feet in toward one another. Take a step to the front of your mat. So we're thinking about the four corners of the body. Let's also talk about the four corners of the feet. So lift up all your toes and feel into those four corners. So we have the ball of the foot, the outer toe mound, and then the inner and outer heel. So spread your toes, maybe kind of rock on those four corners. See if you can feel like, okay, yeah. Imagine a little rectangle there. Set your toes back down. Let's find a nice mountain pose. So with energy, kind of lift energy up through your feet, engage the muscles of your legs. Find a neutral pelvis. You're not too tucked under, you're not really swayed behind you, you're steady, strong. Find that connection to the core, maybe a little lift of the chest as your shoulder blades anchor onto your back. Palms shine forward. And even with your eyes closed, just imagine looking out over a vast horizon. Tune in and feel. With your breath, is there anything you can release and soften? Your eyes are closed. You can gently blink them open. We'll take our feet wider as we come down into a squat. So you can use a block here if you want more of a restorative squat today. Again, try not to overdo it. This is a good release position. So your heels might be lifted. That's totally fine. Wherever you are, again, block is great too. Using the triceps to just gently press the knees open. At the same time, squeeze your knees in and lift up your chest. Find some heaviness through your sitting bone. Lift your chest a little more. Really nice. Take your hands down. Turn your toes forward as you come back to a forward fold. If your feet are wide, take them back underneath the hips. Do a little side stretch here as well. So right hand down, right leg is straight. Bend your left leg and then take your left arm. Nope, that's wrong. Just kidding. It's like, that doesn't feel right. Okay, straighten your left leg, bend your right hand down, left arm up. All right, so we're opening toward the leg that's straight. I feel like Laura likes this pose, but see, I remembered. Good. This is a great IT band stretch. See where you feel it. Maybe with an exhale, fold a little bit more forward. All right, exhale, switch sides. So this time, left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Swaying out through that hip. Beautiful. Both hands come down. Maybe take ragdoll arms, grabbing opposite elbow, allowing gravity to draw you down. Turning your head side to side, consciously releasing tension. Then release your hands. Hands come to the hips. Come back up through standing. I'll shake it out there. How we doing? Good. All right. Do a little standing hip stretch. So if you'd like to come to a wall, feel free. If you're at home, a table is great as well. So we'll balance on the right leg and then take your left leg over. So like a figure 4 stretch here. And you'll see if you're like, oh yeah, this is really wobbly, I want to be near a wall, then be near a wall. Doesn't matter which leg you start in because we'll get to both. So you can kind of sink down to like a chair leg with one side. Hands can be at your heart. That might be good. Centering, find a spot on the floor that's not moving. Okay, as you sink down, see if you can imagine your sitting bones moving back and to the back corners behind you. So they're getting even wider. A little arch through your low spine, like a cow tilt, really stretch out. Everybody's feet look like they're nice and awake. Good. Inhale, come up. Good. And stretch it out. So that hopefully got into some outer hip space there. See the story on the other side. So crossing that over again, holding on to a chair here or a wall. You can even face the wall with both hands if you want to. And you'll see that my toes are spreading, drawing them toward my shin of my upper foot. As you sink down, again, hip back behind you. You might not be able to see much curve in the low spine, but see if you can feel it because you're going to get a lot of sensation, hopefully. Good. Inhale, come back up and shake, kick it out. Wonderful. All right, find your feet underneath your hips. Inhale, reach your arms up. Good. Exhale, float your arms down. Like they're moving through heavy air. Inhale, bend, reach. Letting go any heat, any fieriness from your week. Breathe out. Good. 2 more times. Inhale. Good. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Step to the front of your mat if you're not there. Find a forward fold. Eventually make your way to downward dog. We are making our way to pigeon. So if you like to get into it from some other way than downward facing dog, feel free. If you want to, downward dog, and then right leg forward and through, AKA pelican pose. So see what would serve you today. Maybe you just need like, oof, I just don't need to do too much here and over engineer this pigeon pose. Maybe you just need to sink into it. If you do want some alignment cues, you can walk your back knee back in space a little bit. Just like in tree pose when we were hugging our outer hips in, you can have that same sensation. So we're talking about temperature today. Maybe just doing a scan. What feels hot in your body? What feels cool? Can you imagine like sending a cooling breath to any spots that feel hot? If you'd like to do a twist here, recommend that you grab a block. You can have it near your head, and it's just like thread the needle that we did before. So you can come up on right fingertips. I have my right elbow lifted up here. And you would thread your left arm through. Left side of the head can come down to that block. Again, just a suggestion, not a requirement at all. Yeah, yep, you got it. And you could put your head on the block if you want to, but your head seems fine on the floor. Yeah. Yeah. Laura's doing a thigh stretch. If you want to do that, go for it. If you're happy in your twist, stay there. Take 2 more slow breaths. Consciously telling yourself whatever you got to get rid of and let go of, just now's the time. Breathe it. Let it go. Eventually making your way out of that pose back into downward facing dog. Just allow yourself a breath or 2 to release that side. And moving to the left side when you're ready. This is a lot. You can also do this on your back if this is not working for anybody. You might have one side that's just real tender. So just honor that. And just allow yourself to feel however you feel in this pose. So some people feel like so peaceful and blissful. You might feel not peaceful. That's okay. If you want to move on to that twist, you can take left fingertips down, left elbow up, thread your right arm through, right side of the head comes to a block. Oh, this is a deep twist. So you really got to soften your breath when you're in this one. After your next exhale, you can unwind. And actually just go ahead and take a seat kind of on that left hip, swing your other leg around. And we'll come to a cross-legged position. So if you'd like, you can sit on a blanket here in a cross-legged position. If you feel really rounded at all, it might be nice to be seated up here. Good, you can walk your sitting bones back and apart. And first, we'll just fold forward. So this is like getting the benefits of a forward fold without having to worry about the hamstrings too much. So you can be up on fingertips if you want to. You don't have to go too far out. You might even just come to your forearms and release your head. And you can take blocks too. Walk the hands back. Inhale, coming up. And take right hand on the outside of the left knee. Left hand comes behind you. And as you're working with that hand position, turn your fingers away from your body. So toward the back of the room. Feel how that left shoulder maybe can come on the back even more. As you inhale, pull your belly in, get taller. As you exhale, twist from the right side of your body. Gently come through center to switch sides. Again, with that hand back behind you, you can turn the fingertips away from you. Inhale, pull energy in and up. As you exhale, twist from the left side of your body. We'll come back through center. We'll try cobbler's pose here. So you can bring soles of the feet together. You can stay on this blanket. You might want to kind of come to the edge of the blanket a little bit more. Again, pelvis kind of moves back behind you. Take your thumbs, give your soles of your feet just a little massage. Don't judge your feet while you're here. Just give them some love. All right, from here, you can get nice and tall. You might actually, some of us working posture might take hands behind you. Just work on lifting chest and feeling legs anchor down, not forcing again. If you want another action, you can also crawl your hands forward just a little bit. And instead of thinking about forcing your knees down, I want you to think about your heels. See if you can energetically drag them towards your hips, towards your sitting bones. And you'll just feel some activation here maybe as you energetically draw those heels toward the back of the room. Inhale, come up, stretch your legs in front. Give your feet a little flex and shake there. Yeah. Flop them out. Windshield wiper. All right. Come to your back. Yeah. So I'm going to give you some options here. If you're feeling restorative, I'm going to give you those options. If you're feeling like, no, we've opened the upper body so much, I want some back bending, but we'll do bridge and wheel. So we'll start with the bridge. This is the restorative option. So you can slide that block underneath your low back, and you can do this at a higher height if you'd like to. So this is the lowest height. You could do medium if you'd want to, but it's below your waistline. If you want to do bridge without a block, absolutely go for it. And if you're doing that, yeah, hands maybe interlace underneath the body and wiggle underneath. And do not worry about what your neighbors are doing. You do you, your practice. So if you're in that restorative position, just receive. If you don't have the block, maybe from your hips, reach out through your knees, feel grounding through your feet. Back of the head gently presses down. If you're in bridge, come all the way down. If you're in restorative, stay where you are. So we all have our backs now resting on a block or on the floor. Second pass here. If you want to do bridge, again, feel free. If you want to do wheel, you can do that or stay with your restorative option. Nice, Julie. When it feels good and ready to come back down, we can join Laura in a legs up the wall variation here. So if you don't have the block underneath you, go ahead and slide it underneath. And if you are in restorative bridge, you can just float your feet on up. You might want to take it to the lowest setting on the block. And allow your eyes to close. Feel lightness through your legs. So there's no work, there's no stretch in the hamstrings. You can bend your knees. Allow your breath to slow down and deepen. Maybe going back to that 3-part breath. Inhaling to the chest, then the ribs, then the belly. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. Inhale, chest, ribs, belly. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. And float your feet back down to the earth. So you're back in supported bridge here. Maybe take your hands to your belly or alongside your body. Essentially sliding the block out from underneath of you. Let's stretch arms and legs in opposite directions. So a nice, good morning stretch. Get a little bit of side body in. So we're going to make a crescent shape, like a little banana shape. So scoot your hips to the left, feet go to the bottom right corner of the mat, Hands go to the top right corner. You can even cross left leg over right. See if the back of your body can soften toward the floor. And then unwind. Other side, scoot your hips to the right. Feet and hands go to the bottom and top left corners of the mat. Just take a minute or two to do any final poses, any final ways that you like to close out your practice before we set ourselves up for our last nice resting pose for the day. So you have a favorite pose we didn't get to, something else that feels like your body needs it, go for it. And let me give you some options for Shavasana, okay? So if you're at home, I'm just gonna encourage you, get whatever delicious props you have around you. At home, I've got a weighted blanket. If you have anything that would feel nice, a favorite pillow, please get it. If you're here and you'd like a little bit of a chest opener as you rest, I'm gonna give you some options. So you could use your bolster here, it could be underneath the knees. You could also have it right behind you and kind of drape your upper body here. A passive chest opener. This might feel nice. You could also layer a blanket on top. I'll grab the eye pillows as well. You could take your legs into butterfly legs and have a block underneath each knee. That's a nice option as well. But just take a minute to set up. If you need another blanket, I'm happy to bring you one. Would anyone like an eye pillow? Why not? You got one? Yeah. Welcome. Do you like eye pillows, Julie? Sure. Fantastic. Just the cover? Yeah. Okay. Laura, anything I can get you? Okay. Do you want blanket underneath your head? Looks like your head could maybe use just a little bit. Let me get you a folded one. That's taking any final little adjustments. As if you could watch yourself from above. Just watch yourself settle and sink in. Embracing this little window as sacred rest. Claim it. And receive the gifts of it. without moving. Fully become aware of your breath. Inviting in some small movements with your fingers or toes. Transitions are so important. So as you begin to move, just really slowly making your way to your right side. You can pause there. As you're resting here, just tuning back into the same way that we began. Asking yourself at the end of your practice, what is the state of my body? How does my body feel now? What is the state of my mind? And how does my emotional self feel at the end of this mindful movement practice today? Eventually pressing back up into a seated position, joining our hands together. Just acknowledging yourself for coming to your mat today, in spite of maybe so many reasons not to make it at the end of a week. Feel some gratitude toward yourself for the patience and the mindfulness with which you moved. And as you go out into the weekend, just being conscious of bringing balance, right? When things are heating up emotionally or in the weather, how can you bring some cooling energy to just allow things to settle back to a nice balance point? With that, we'll take one more breath in together. With some reverence and gratitude, bow your head towards your hands and your heart. Namaste. I always say, my goal is that you feel better than before. So I hope you do. And Patricia, yes, this is always posted on our YouTube page. We have a Heartland YouTube page. And so if you ever want the recordings to these community classes, we usually upload it in a couple of days there. So while the studio is closed,